What's up, you guys? This is Century Productions, and you're watching the Watchtower series. This is just basically a deep dive into my toy photography. I show you how I pose my figures, how I light my setups, basically any and everything to do with my toy photography. Starting off this episode with a little Masters of Evil shot. Working with the Baron Zemo from Marvel Legends, came out a couple years ago. I think it was a Walgreens exclusive. This is definitely the definitive version of this character. This is an absolutely amazing figure. I think it made my top 10 list last year. Love this figure. Really good. Playing with like a lot of characters here, kind of a who's who of the Masters of Evil. I don't believe all of these guys have been together in a team. Over the years, there's been several iterations of the team, not just by Baron Zemo, but Egghead, Ultron. There was all kinds of people that were at the head of the Masters of Evil. But when I think of the Masters of Evil, I think of Baron Zemo. This is, of course, I think the latest Baron Zemo. His lineage goes back like 13 or 14 Barons. His father was Heinrich. This is Helmut Zemo. If you guys want a really good read on Baron Zemo, there's a little mini-series about 4 issues called Born Better, and it's basically Helmut here going back in time and meeting each of his grandfathers or his descendants all the way to the first Baron Zemo. It's a really good read, really great. That's kind of what inspired this in a sense, especially, him holding the little chalice here, or cup or goblet, whatever you want to call it. I just thought this was such a cool little scene. I've never shot anything as far as the Masters of Evil. Very simple shot, not really too much going on with this, just kind of very character heavy. I think the coolest effect here is this little effect I have with Radioactive Man. I just have a light very close to him that's kind of, signaling that radiation that's coming off of him. The name of the game for this shot is just basically setting up the camera, and typically I'll set up my scene and then put the camera up, but for a shot like this where I want to make sure every person's face is in frame, I'll set up the camera first and then kind of place the figures from there. Lots of little tweaks just to make sure you can see everyone's face. The lighting's going to be a little different, when I'm shooting the video, it kind of shows up differently, but lots of lights. One of my lights is probably going to turn off here in a minute, but the main focal point is going to be Baron Zemo here. There's a very old shot of him holding up the glass. I think it was on the cover of one of his, it might have been from Born Better, I'm not exactly sure, but that was the inspiration for him holding up the little chalice here, and then I just kind of added everything else. It's kind of hard to find a lot of Masters of Evil pictures or references to kind of, see how I could set them all up. When it comes to comics, I try to make sure my stuff is very accurate, so it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of like a hodgepodge of different characters, but I think they all look very good together. And I got to whip out the Wrecking Crew way back here, man. These guys need an update, man. They are looking kind of scary as far as the sculpts and the paint application. We definitely need some updated versions of these guys. Alright, so here's a little bit more of the setup. As you can see, there's a lot of lights here. I had to make sure I lit both of these 2 characters in the front, even though they're going to be blurred out in the foreground. I had to make sure I had a lot of light in the back here for, all the background characters so you can see them, easily. And then I had to make sure most of my lighting was on Baron Zemo because, like I said, this is the focal point. So I want most of the lighting to be on him so you can clearly see him and he comes out in focus. Working with an extreme set. This is courtesy of Bever Clever, just borrowing it from him. He has a lot of extreme sets. I don't really shoot too much stuff on them all that often, but this one is the Mansion set, and it's got these kind of like old school pictures in the back that you probably won't even see in the shot, but I didn't want to just shoot, just like a poster board in the background. I kind of wanted to give that feeling of, they're in somewhere that has a little bit of wealth, like a mansion or something like that, because we all know Baron Zemo is like filthy rich. So not really much else to the shot. Like I explained, I kind of just set up the camera and then put everything into the frame, kind of placing it very strategically, and just use pretty much all the lights I have right here just to make sure everything is nicely lit. There's a good, kind of nice balance between the lighting in the back, the lighting in the front, and everything. I think I had the most trouble lighting this claw right here. because I had to kind of focus two light sources on him, but I think it came out okay. And overall, I'm very happy with this shot. Masters of Evil shot. I can kind of check this one off the bucket list, so let's check it out. Alright, so I'm on the table with a little Daredevil shot. I haven't really been shooting too much lately, so I wanted to get on the table with something. I just recently got in all the Spider-Man No Way Home figures, and I was playing around with this Daredevil figure. This is, of course, the movie version of Daredevil that I have kit bashed or swapped the head from the first appearance Daredevil on there. So now I have like a comic book Matt Murdock, which is pretty cool. I love my comic book figures. I actually picked up 2 of this suited body. That way I could keep one with the Charlie Cox head from the movie, and then of course now I have my comic book version. And if I have the option of shooting something from the MCU or something from the comic books, I would say 99% of the time I'm going to shoot something from the comics. That's where my heart is. And of course this little cutout that I have on the door that says Alias Investigations right here that my hand is covering up, that's straight from a comic as well. I think it's from Alias Investigations, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was one of the first Jessica Jones books. And I just kind of pulled this. This was on a door in one of the panels, and I just pulled it off of I just kind of cropped it out of a screenshot, and it kind of worked out beautifully here. This is supposed to like simulate old, stained glass with the, like the old detective windows from like the 1940s, it says detective blah blah blah. But this of course is Alias Investigations, where she has her headquarters at. If you guys watch the Jessica Jones show, you kind of have an idea of where my thought process was with this shot right here. Just kind of in a hallway using a diorama I bought off eBay several years ago. This is basically my only hallway diorama that I use. Don't really use it all that often, but in situations like this, it comes in really clutch. It's a really nice diorama. Added a couple, or I guess sprinkled in a couple little props here and there. We got like a little beer can over here. We got an Amazon package. We got a Daily Bugle newspaper on the door. And then of course we got Matt kind of standing to the side, kind of waiting for Jessica Jones to show up. When he's not Daredevil, he's a lawyer, and he's doing lawyer shit right here. He's waiting for somebody. I'm sure lawyers work with investigation teams all the time, and of course these two bump heads once in a while in the comics. I really like this little kit bashed suited body right here. This is like on the pinless buck. I'm not sure if this is the first pinless suited body, but I have to say this is probably the best Marvel Legends suited body that they have come out with so far. Its articulation is very fluid. It's very fun to pose around, and it feels a little bit different than the normal suited bodies that they typically give us. And of course, it's got the cane, comes with the cane, and the head fits on there beautifully, I have to say. So I'm pretty stoked about this setup. Alright, so I'm just on the table with a quick little Spider-Man shot. I don't even really know why I shot this. This is such a simple setup, just like a little background, a little rooftop dio. I've been a little sick, so I haven't really been on the table as much, and this is like my biggest passion, toy photography, and I think I was just kind of missing it because I hadn't been on the table in a couple days, so I don't know, I guess I was just kind of looking for an excuse to shoot something. So I had the new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Far From Home Final Swing Spider-Man figure. That's a mouthful. And I was playing around with it, and I thought it was just fantastic, man. So I was getting ideas, and initially I was going to put snow on this roof and everything, and I was playing with it, and this fucking piece of shit broke on me, dude. I was so fucking pissed off. I mean, dude, unbelievable. Fucking just snapped right at the shoulder, at the bicep. I noticed that there's been a lot of people whose Spider-Mans have been snapping right there, and it's just, god damn it, man, dude, it just pissed me off hella bad. And this was like right before I left for work, so I was just like all day I was just pissed off about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go home and take a shot anyways. So I took the head from that Final Swing Spider-Man, threw it on this Spider-Man, got like a little John Romita Spider-Man right here. I think this looks pretty cool. This is the Spider-Man from the Amazing Friends 3-pack, and I think it works perfectly for this head. Had to use a little bit of tack to get it on there, but it fits pretty well. The reds match pretty well. I really like this head sculpt, and yeah, I'm just still fucking pissed about the final swing suit Spidey breaking. So not gonna dwell too much deeper into this setup. It's very simple, working with very low settings here, but got a couple of really large lights right here to the right, and another light right there, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole shot right there. So let's check it out. Alright, to finish up this episode, I decided to do a little Wonder Man shot. Been trying to take this shot for a while now. I love this Wonder Man figure. I love this character. I pulled a little cutout from the first issue of his second solo series, I believe. I believe in that issue they actually had like a fake Wonder Man movie poster inside, and I found an image of it, and I've always kind of liked playing around with the idea of Simon Williams, the movie star. You know, in this getup, this is a very movie star-esque type of outfit that he's wearing. He wore it in the Avengers for a very long time. One of probably not his most iconic look. I think his most iconic look is actually the one that's on the poster back here, but one of his most iconic looks. So I really wanted to give that feel of like Simon Williams, the movie star. So I got a little red carpet. I kind of kit bashed some velvet ropes using the baseball bats from the the suited guys from the Hawkeye show, the Tracksuit Mafia, I think that's what they're called. Put the little movie poster in the back, and now we got Simon Williams in like a little movie premiere right here. This is, like I said, something I've been wanting to shoot for a really long time. Whipped out all the suited bodies, got the new Daredevil suited body in there, and yeah, they're just kind of taking pictures of him, asking for interviews, you know, red carpet type of shit. And yeah, this is looking pretty cool, man. I know it's kind of off center, and the shot is like, it's a little wonky as far as like the centering and everything, but I think it works. I really wanted to make sure you could see the poster back there. Of course, Simon, and then all of these guys filling up the rest of the space as the paparazzi or the interviewers, all that stuff. Alright, so you can really see the setup here. It's a very small setup. Now, I knew I wanted a red carpet. In fact, that was like the main thing I wanted. I knew I also wanted these velvet ropes, but I knew if I didn't have the red carpet that like none of this was going to make sense to me. But this was all I had for red felt. I was initially thinking of using poster board, but it wasn't going to have that same kind of red carpet type of feel as this would. But this was all I had. I don't know where I got it or where I pulled it from, I forget, but so I had to work within my constraints here for this red carpet, so that's why everything's kind of so clustered together, but I think it ends up working out for the shot because, you know, these red carpets, there is a million people taking pictures and trying to interview people. It's already very cluttered just in general. Not like I've ever been to a red carpet, but of course we've all seen, you know, people interviewing people at red carpets and everything, so that was kind of the vibe. It kind of worked out really well. Like I said, these are just kit-bashed baseball bats with blue tack and then red pipe cleaners to make the velvet ropes. I knew I wanted that, you know, in the shot as well, just to kind of really sell, you know, the whole movie premiere type of thing. And I think it works pretty well. You know, for my shots, I really try to go out of my way and go the distance and really, you know, set everything up as if it was like in a comic book or in real life, and really go the distance. You know, if I didn't have the velvet ropes, it wouldn't really feel like a movie premiere to me. But this is also just like the most makeshift diorama you could ever make. Kit bash velvet ropes, just a black poster board, something printed off of a printer, or a little cutout print off the printer, and then this little piece of red felt. And dude, you don't have to be buying all these expensive dials. You just have a little bit of ingenuity and a little bit of drive and, you know, some passion for what you're shooting, and I think you can really come up with something sick here, not to toot my own horn. Lots of lights, as you can see. Got these two lights to hit the paparazzis, and of course Wonder Man. Got this rim light right here to really shine on these guys. These are all going to be out of focus, but you really got to make sure there's a lot of light on them, because remember, we got a black background, and all these guys, for the most part, other than this dude, are in black, so we have to make sure that they stand out from the background and don't get blended in with the background. So that's why we have so many lights. We got another light right here shining on them. Even though, like I said, they're all going to be out of focus, this is going to be out of focus, but just enough out of focus to where Simon is the focal point, but enough in focus that you can still clearly see what they are and where they're at and their positions. This guy's taking a picture, this guy's got a microphone, this guy's just standing there. So yeah, lots of lighting, and then I got this little side lighting right there. It was actually not a bad thing to have really bright lights because it's a movie premiere, lots of people are taking pictures and everything. So, and then on top of all that stuff, I had to make sure that this was very 80s. You know, this is a very 80s inspired outfit. This is obviously from, I think, I believe this cutout's from like 91. But still feels very 80s, like, you know, so I didn't want to have any modern stuff in there. I was thinking about putting somebody with a cell phone, but it just didn't make sense to me. But yeah, so that's my little Wonder Man Simon Williams movie star shot. I really like this one, really dig it. I'm really happy I was able to finally shoot this. And that's going to wrap up this episode of the Watchtower. Like always, thank you for watching all the way through. If you made it this far, leave a comment down below or any feedback for me if you would have changed something for a shot, or you would have done this, or something maybe you'd like to see in the future. Or if you have any questions, you know, you can always contact me via Instagram, private message, direct message, whatever you want to call it. I always answer people back on there, try to respond to people in the comments on YouTube. And yeah, make sure to check out my Instagram. I got more behind the scenes over there. I post the final pictures for you guys over there, and for myself, of course. And yeah, like I said, any questions or anything like that, let me know. And yeah, this is Century Productions. Let's check out this shot, guys. Thanks for watching.
That's crispy.